Welcome or welcome back to Petite Perspective. I have to do both parts on my own this morning because this is a solo video. Elise has done the last couple and I'm doing the next. I'm holding down the fort because I'm showing you a sneak peek of what I'm going to talk about. Elise is going on her travels, so she's leaving me to man the fort. But for today's video, I thought that I would do just like my Roman Empire of books, because I'm a really generous critic of books, because I always have not always, but if I have a good time, then I'm like, oh, this is like a 5-star read, but just because I've had a good time. But I love reading, so obviously like 9 times out of 10 I'm gonna have a good time. But I thought that I would do like my Roman, I keep sneak peeking, my Roman Empire books. And to make it onto this list, to make it onto a Roman Empire, and also for anyone who doesn't know, a Roman Empire, there was like a TikTok trend going around, and it asked men like how many times they think about the Roman Empire and things like that. So it was and like men were like, oh, I think about it like twice a week or whatever. So Roman Empire books are books that you read. There's a difference between, there's a difference between a Roman Empire book and a 5-star read. 5-star reads, it's like, wow, this was amazing, I enjoyed it, and then I just go on with my life. Roman Empire books for me are, I sit there and stare at a wall and think, how the hell am I ever going to be the same again? That's like what a Roman Empire book is for me. Like, I'm literally like, I can't carry on. Like, I simply can't carry on. I think about these books. It's been quite a while since, pretty much quite a while since I've read all of them. And I think about them every day. Like, some of these books I think about, every day without fail. So I thought, excuse my throat, I'm maybe coming down with a cold, but I thought that I would talk through G Money's Roman Empire books that I physically can never stop thinking about. And I don't want to stop thinking about them because I love them and they make up my personality, my character trait. I like to talk about them all the time. I think about them. I love the characters. I'm mentally, I'm still there. And I have quite like a strict, I said I was like a generous Goodreads rater, which I am. But when it comes to my Roman Empires, you either make the cut or you don't. And I have quite a strict list of books that just make the cut. They're just a cut above the rest. So these are my pièce de résistance. It's times like this I need a list. Okay, so I hope this lighting's okay. I've moved you guys because the lighting up there was a little bit too bright. But let's kick things off. So as I say, a lot of different genres, lots of different books. I would obviously hand on heart recommend all of these books if anyone's looking for something to read. Obviously, they're like, I think about them all the time. Okay, so first off, we have The Roanoke Girls. The Roanoke Girls is by Amy Engel. And I read this years ago. I remember I read this so many years ago. And then I read it again on holiday. And I had like a line where I hadn't looked up. I wasn't tanning. I was just looking like this. So this will always stay on my shelf. And I don't know if it's because it's my Roman Empire book, because I absolutely like it made me fall back in love with reading, or if it's because like it's just a fantastic book, which I think it's a fantastic book. It was like Richard and Judy. Do you remember when Richard and Judy used to do those like book club, Richard and Judy's book club picks? It was one of them, and it's basically about a family, and they have like, there's a family tree and I love things like this, so they're all really rich. There's like a family tree in the front, and they have lots of daughters, and basically it's about grandparents. So it's not mum and dad's, but it's her grandparents, and something happens in the family and she has to go back to, they're the Roanoke, obviously, and a lot of tragedy happens to the girls in these families. It kind of reminds me of like virgin suicide type of vibes, and she basically has to go back because something's happened, and one of her family members, I don't want to like give it away. Allegra, her cousin, it says it on the back, so I don't want to give this away if it's a massive plot point. Allegra, the cousin, goes missing, So she has to go back to the family home with the nan and granddad and basically like get to the bottom of like what's happened. So it's there's like subplots of romance, but it's not the main plot. It's not romance. It's kind of like thrillery. It's about a family. It's about like toxic family drama, and it just gripped me. And I remember being young and being like, wow, I literally love this book so much. I read it like in a day on holiday, and I always keep it on my shelf. And I'd given it to Elise. She didn't love it as much as I did, which fair enough. Everyone has their own opinions. Like, I'm never going to force anyone to love my books as much as me. But yeah, this is like a really good, like, I think this is the perfect holiday read. I might even take it away with me again it says a provocative thriller, and it really is. So that's The Roanoke Girls by Amy Engel. Am I saying that wrong? Probably saying that wrong. It's quite an old book. I think it's like, yeah, it must be a few years old now because I read it some years ago. But yeah, this is a book that I think about all the time, and anytime someone's like, oh, I want like this type of book, I'm like, oh, I have one for you. So yes, that's my first book. Okay, going into my second book. So this is part of a series that this is The Ballad of Never After, by Stephanie Garber. And obviously this is a really popular series. It's not groundbreaking that this is in my Roman Empire books. Like, I'm not original, you know, I'm just one of those girls. But this is the second book. The rest of the series is not in my Roman Empire. I was actually a little bit disappointed by the third book. Unpopular opinion. Well, actually, I think it was quite a popular opinion when that book came out. But The Ballad of Never After was like gripped me, and I think about these characters all the time. So this is basically the second one in a trilogy, and it's just a trilogy. I like that she does her books in like, she doesn't go on, they're not like 5 or 6 books long, so they're quite like easy to digest, and it's very fairy tale, fantasy-esque. I didn't read Caraval first. I know they say you should, but I didn't read Caraval first, and I found this one fine. So it probably like I didn't know what I was missing, so I didn't read it first. But this is about Evangeline Fox is a hopeless romantic, and she goes on this quest to try and find her. Well, she knows who her true love is, but to try and stop her true love, something happening with her true love, and she makes a deal and a bargain with Jax, who is the Prince of Hearts. Sorry, I just spit everywhere. But this book is really good. I think about it all the time, think about these characters, and basically if you're after just like a low maintenance fantasy, like fairy tale romance, very heavy on the romance, then these books and this series is probably for you. But this book I think about all the time, probably a lot more than I should think about it, but what can you do, eh? So yeah, Ballad of Never After, the second book in the series. Don't read this one first because it won't make sense, but read the first one. But this one is the best one out of that series, and the one that I keep on my shelf. I don't keep the other ones on my shelf because I'm limited for space, and I'm like, look, you need to really impress me to be kept on these shelves. Okay, so next up we have My Dark Romeo. Obviously I don't have the My Dark Romeo because I read it on my Kindle, but I have My Dark Desire, so I thought I'd bring it in as a placeholder for My Dark Romeo. So My Dark Romeo follows, and I think about these characters all the time, Dallas Townsend and Romeo. I can't think of his last name, but he's a dreamboat. And it's basically like high society, but set, like everything about it, like the concept. I talk about this book all the time. High society, which I love. As we know, like I'm so one for like old money type of like vibes. High society set in Texas. So again, like that's so different. And it kind of, something happens. It's giving like Bridgerton type of like energy, high society. They're all at this like ball. Something happens, and Romeo and Dallas are forced into a marriage of convenience, but they don't like each other like that. So it's like enemies to lovers, marriage of convenience, forced marriage type of vibe, and just everything about that book. I picked it up on my Kindle about a year ago probably, and I read, and not many books make me do this, I read it so quick, couldn't put it down type of vibe. Like one weekend I just sat and read and I loved it, and the characters were great and Dallas was so funny. I tell my friends to read this book when they're like, oh, I just want like a palate cleanse, like, I don't want to use much brain power. So I was like, yeah, okay, I've got something for you. I tell my friends to read it. Yes, so but obviously I don't have it with me but the cover's beautiful as well if you did want to like buy the cover. I see it in Waterstones all the time and I'm always like, so much. But yes, that is my third Roman Empire book. I think about that book way too much. Okay, so the next couple of books that I'm going to talk about are part of a series. Yeah, the next three actually. The next three books are part of a series, but these are my favourite books. Oh, I'm sorry. I have a little guest. He hopefully just settled on my lap. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I have a sausage dog on my lap. So these two books are from the ACOTAR series, which obviously, if you don't know, then where have you been? But I think about A Court of Mist and Fury and A Court of Silver Flames all the time. And to be fair, I think about A Court of Wings and Ruin as well. Like, I think about the ACOTAR series so often. I'm yet to start Crescent City, or I was going to say Glass of Throne, but it's Throne of Glass. I'm yet to start them yet, but they are on my list. But this book in particular, A Court of Silver Flames, has such a special place in my heart. If anyone like is after a fantasy recommendation, I've recommended this to so many of my friends. Obviously, you have to read the series in order, so start with A Court of Thorns and Roses. But these books, I think about these characters. I like Instagram fan art of them still. I'm on like the ACOTAR memes pages on TikTok. Like, I think about these characters more than is probably healthy. I used to have a Bat Boys t-shirt. Got my mum put it in the wash and I was like, ugh. Used to have a Bat Boys t-shirt, like the merch. Oh god, I'm just like, yeah, these books, they deserve the hype that they get. And I think about them all the time. I think about Rysand in this one, and I think about my main man Cassian in this one. And to be honest with you, I think that these are up there with some of my favourite ever. Like, they made me fall in love with reading. They look so big and so scary, but I promise you that the time just flies when you're reading them, because you're just like, you want to know what happens next. So that's the ACOTAR series. Obviously, I'm a huge ACOTAR girl. Anyone who will listen to me. This one, I'm going to show you what's next. This one is a new Roman Empire. This is probably, out of all of these, my newest Roman Empire book, I would say. And it is Saving Six by Chloe Walsh. I forgot to say SJ Mass with them. Obviously, everyone knows. Sorry. Everyone knows who ACOTAR's by. Yes, Saving Six by Chloe Walsh. Look at my tabs. I read this recently. This is, again, as part of a series. This is book 3 of the Boys of Tommen series. And you have to read Binding and Keeping 13 first. And then this is about 2 different characters, Joey and Aoife. And I think since I put this was the book, you know, I said earlier about staring at a wall. Some books change you. This changed me. I don't want to go back though. It's not like a bad change. It's like I can never not think about these guys again. Every time someone plays Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls, I'm taken straight back to this book. Every time someone mentions Ireland, like in general, just the whole place, Ireland, anything Irish, I'm like, because this book literally is just, again, she's thick, but I just flew through this book. I loved them. I fell in love with the characters. I fell in love with the story. I think about them all the time. I wonder, like, in my head, what they're doing. And I'm like, oh my god, babe, they're words on a page. I have Redeeming Six. I haven't read that yet because I'm saving it, because then obviously all the couples get 2 books. So I'm saving Redeeming Six because I don't know if I'm ready to like be over with these guys. Yeah, but that is Saving Six by Chloe Walsh. If you're after, sorry, I didn't even explain what it's about. They're all romance books set in Ireland, in Ballylagan. And they're about like teenagers, couples. Each 2 books follows like a different couple. Saving and binding and saving. No, not saving. Binding and Keeping 13 were not as good for me. I nearly DNF'd. Keeping 13, I nearly DNF'd. Binding 13, the first one, Binding 13, I nearly DNF'd. And then I was like, no, I'm going to keep on because everyone says that Joey and Eve are great. And they really are. They really, really are. Like, this book took my heart out of my body and just, like, it's just in the ether somewhere. I don't know where it is. Oh, I do know where it is. Ballyfrickin-Lagan. That's where my heart is. Yeah, these are really, really good books. Romance, that, like, but not romance as in just like straight romance, like lovey-dovey, like palate cleanse type of romance. No, they're like complex, tortured souls who, like, their trauma. It's fantastic. I can't explain it in any other way. They're fantastic. I would recommend these books to anyone. Okay, so next, and obviously these aren't all of my Roman Empire books. I think about a lot of books all the time, but these are like, yeah, as I say, these are like the books that I would like sell my soul to read again for the first time and like experience the feelings that I felt when I was reading them for the first time. Sorry, I'm just gonna have to like, can you see? He's so cute. Okay. Finally, it's happening to me right in front of my face. He's like, shut up. Okay, finally, this is obviously part of a series as well. It's Daisy motherfucking Hates. Okay, so this is book 2 of the Magnolia Parks series by Jessa Hastings. Jessa Hastings, Daisy Hates is the character. And mine is actually signed because I met Jessa. I don't want to rub it in, but if you're an avid Petite Perspective viewer, then you get comfy, sir. Don't worry about me. I'm not trying to do anything. You get comfy, my king. Yeah, Daisy Hates follows Christian, Hems, and Daisy Hates, who are characters in the Magnolia Parks universe. And they basically, Christian Hems is a shady character. They're all kind of shady, and Daisy's a med student, but she's surrounded by these shady characters, and it's just fantastic. And then also another book that I think about all the time from the same series is The Great Undoing. I know that people are sometimes a bit hesitant to get involved in this book because they just don't know how it's going to be, but I literally picked it up because Elise loved it, and I read Elise's copies and annotated all of Elise's copies, and my life has not been the same since. And I wish I was being dramatic, but my life has not been the same since. There, I said it. Yeah, so this book's romance, and it is just follows like a group of teenage friends. I think the theme that I'm getting here is I love like following teenage friends around at my big age of 28. Yeah, so this follows like a group of teenage friends, and they're like in London and they've got loads of money, and it's phenomenal. It is a really, really good read, and I would recommend it to, I was about to say I'd recommend it to my worst enemy. I don't know what I meant by that, but I would recommend this book to anyone who will listen to me, and Elise has got loads of people to read this book. So that is my last that's like a quick fire, the books that I have on my shelves that I think about all the time that I would recommend to anyone. Yeah, so I hope that this has been somewhat useful, and you have got some maybe book recommendations, or you just fancied having a watch of some crazy girl talking about the books that she loves, because same, I do that every single day with all the other YouTubers. I hope that you maybe got a new book recommendation, something to read, something to talk about, and if you did, then let me know. And also comment down below your Roman Empire book. Like, what is a book that you read that sort of changed the way you think, or changed the way that you go about your daily life because you cannot stop thinking about. I think about Christian Hems from the Magnolia Park series like twice a day. I'm so sorry if you can hear what is going on down here. My dog's having a good old lick of his tail. So yeah, stay tuned for more videos. I'm going to do a reading vlog, and Elise is away, so it's just me, but I hope that's okay, and I hope everyone's well, and I hope everyone's having a great weekend, and whatever you're doing, I hope you're doing it with love. So thank you so much for watching. I hope the lighting was okay, and I will see you guys in the next one, which I think is actually a book slump video, because I went to a book slump. But talking about books like this is a good thing. It's making me excited to find maybe my next Roman Empire book. Anyway, thank you, like and subscribe. Bye.